Meet JJ. In 2024, he moved to Bangkok, Thailand after retiring from a career in international recruitment and education in the Philippines. After splitting time between Da Nang in Vietnam and Bangkok, he ultimately chose Bangkok, relocating to the city with a plan to study the Thai language and settle in long term. In today's interview, JJ shares why the Thai capital stood out as his preferred retirement destination and what the transition to daily life in Thailand has really been like. He also discusses the practical side of settling in, including choosing where to stay, cost of living, and navigating the visa and banking systems, which often trip up newcomers. Welcome to the channel.
Thanks, Cal. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
All right, so before we get into it, where are you from and what are you doing here in Bangkok?
Well, I'm from the U.S., born and raised in Nebraska, so right in the center of the country. But I've lived all over the country, and I'm retired and living my life here in Bangkok and loving it. So I've been here for about 1.5 years now. And before that, I was kind of splitting time on a tourist visa between here in Thailand and Vietnam. And before that, I lived in the Philippines for 3 years.
So you got the trifecta here because this is the mix that a lot of people ask about.
Yeah, I moved in 2022, right after the Philippines opened after COVID. I moved there in March of 2022 for a job. So I was working in education. I was a director of recruitment or director of enrollment for a university that was global, and lived in BGC, which is Bonifacio Global City, kind of a smart city in Metro Manila. Beautiful city, very westernized, very modern, and worked in the job for about 1 year, and then my contract ended, and I had a choice. It's like, oh, I can go back to the US and work until I'm 70 and be stressed out every day and be sick, or I can retire early. And I put pen to paper and figured out, yeah, I can do it. I can retire early, still live in Southeast Asia, and actually enjoy my life. That year after my contract ended, I just stayed there and retired, and I lived there for 3 years. My income went down a bit because I was making really good money. You know, when you're making US money living in the Philippines, you get used to that lifestyle of spending a lot of money. And then when there's not that much money, you have to rethink your budget.
Well, so in the Philippines, what was your approximate budget there?
Well, my expenses when I was working, I was probably spending about maybe $4,000 or $5,000 a month. And after I retired, it went down to about $2,000 a month.
And then you decided to move to Bangkok and to Da Nang and switch time there.
I got a 3-year itch. You know, it's like I've been to BGC, been there for 3 years, and it got really small. It's a bubble. I call it a bubble. And to get outside of that little bubble is kind of a pain in the rear to get around in Metro Manila. And I've been to Bangkok, and I've been to Thailand and Vietnam a few times since I've been living in Southeast Asia. And I really liked Da Nang, and I really liked Bangkok. So that was my decision, was based on that. So in 2020, would have been 2024, I guess, is when I moved in the end of 2024. I only spent like 3 months living in Da Nang and realized that, you know what, I don't need to keep an apartment there. I can keep visiting Da Nang if I want to and find a cheap hotel because it's so cheap over there. I can get a hotel, a nice hotel for, you know, $12 a night, and it's right 2 blocks from the beach. I knew they were going to change the policies here. They're going to start cracking down on border runs, you know, and limit the time you can come here. So I knew that I really couldn't live here on a tourist visa. So I had some options, obviously. I always had heard that if you're over 50, you can't get an education visa. Well, so I just thought, I'm gonna call these or visit these Thai language schools and ask. And I talked to 6 different schools, and every one of them said, oh, it doesn't matter your age. So I went with Sandy Thai Language School, which is on Rama 9. They're so awesome because they did all the paperwork for me. There's 3 levels of Thai language. I signed up for the first 2 because I didn't want to pay for all 3, because if I failed miserably, I didn't want to like drop out and not get that money back. So I did the first 2 levels, and it was like 25,000 baht and 2,000 for the visa. And then you have to do, every 3 months you have to do the extension. But they did all the paperwork for me on day one. My level 2 will end the first week in June.
Okay.
And then I've got a decision to make. But
how many days a week are you studying for?
4 days a week, 2 hours a day, or an hour and a half a day, basically. And really, you only have to go 2 days a week to make it count for immigration. Every 3 months when I do my extension, they give me my attendance and they do all the forms. But, getting back to at the beginning, they did all the work for me. All I had to do was get copies of my passport and like 10 or 12 photos, passport photos, because every extension they put a new photo on. They meet you at immigration at Division 1. They give you your paperwork and they tell you where to go. And then every time there's an extension, they say, get your attendance from your teacher. Come the next day to the administration office. We'll have all your paperwork for you. And then the next day after that, you go to immigration, you get your extension. So they do all of that.
Have you had any problems with immigration? Because the education visa gets a really bad reputation these days because of some of the crackdowns previously. And so it's very interesting to get insight from.
Right. Well, I think the problem is people were coming on an education visa and then working. My biggest concern was, are they going to speak in Thai to me only if I go to immigration?
Well, you got my next question there.
But they don't.
Now, have you traveled in and out of the country while you're on the education visa?
Yes, and you have to get a re-entry stamp.
Yes.
And it's 1,000 baht. And so I've gone to Philippines a couple of times.
So you've traveled in and out a couple of times. Now, did you get quizzed in Thai at all?
No, they never even talk to you. You give them your passport, they look at your re-entry stamp, they give you a new stamp.
No, that's very interesting. It's good information, this, because there are a lot of rumors that go around that immigration will quiz you directly in Thai when you're trying to re-enter the country with the education visa. Could you pass?
I could probably now. The first extension or two, probably not. The problem with speaking Thai to a local is they speak so fast. And I'm like, I'll catch a word here and there, and it's like, oh, I kind of understand what they're saying because I know that word. But with my school, it's like, it's not just speaking and listening to Thai. We're learning how to read and write it too, all at the same time. Another thing that the school did was they helped me open up my bank account, because education visa is non-immigrant. So my whole plan was I wanted to learn Thai anyway. And then after my school was done, I wanted to convert into a retirement visa. Well, so my whole thought process was, well, if I can open up a bank account for that year I'm in school and just keep depositing 65,000 baht each month into a Thai bank account, maybe I won't have to do the 800,000 baht.
Trickier.
I don't know yet, but we'll find out. I'll let you know. We can do an update.
You can let us know. Now, I'm skeptical that you won't have to do the 800,000.
I am too, but you know what?
Because they typically need it to be verified income.
Right. So I transfer from my bank in the U.S. to my bank here, but I use Wise, and there's actually a drop-down menu on Wise. What is the purpose of this money? And you can put for future retirement. There's an option to click that now. Didn't used to have that, but now they do. But the school was awesome. They did all my paperwork. They said, what day you want to go? And they said, we work really well with Siam Commercial Bank. And so I said, okay, great, because there's one right basically across the street.
It's a good bank to deal with right now too, because they don't have any crackdowns.
But anyway, so they had all the paperwork, and I just showed up at the bank, gave them all my paperwork, signed every page. It's funny here in Thailand, you have to sign every page of every document.
Be
so
50
I did that,
pages of one
and
after
I'm thinking,
another.
yeah, and I'm thinking, okay, so am I approved? And she goes, no, we have to send this to the home office and come back in 10 business days. So I went back 10 business days thinking, okay, I'm approved. And so I tell them, I get back there and I tell them, and they go, okay, let me check to see if you've been approved. It's like, uh-oh. So it's like, a little worried there. But they approved me, and so I opened up my account. But the school did all the work for me. It's so nice.
So we could link that school. If you're interested in studying Thai, it's very useful to have reputable schools. And this is a non-sponsored segment. We're just shouting out a positive result here.
So I have to make a decision the 1st of June on what I want to do with my education visa, because they gave me two options. They said, you can stay in the country and sign up for level 3, and it's a 4-month program, so that'll get me through October. And it's 12,500 baht, or 12,500 baht for that cost.
So how much are you paying a month there? What's the total cost?
I paid it all at once. It's 25,000 baht for the first 2 levels.
And how many months is that?
Well, September, October, November, 9 months.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's good value.
Yeah, I think it's. I didn't do the cheapest school, but I didn't do the most expensive school. This one, I liked everything about it. But
Yeah, that's very good value though. If you actually break that up into a monthly expense,
Yeah,
you're
it's
getting your
not bad
tie,
at all.
a well-organized visa, your bank account opened, and with the assistance.
Yeah.
So when you moved to Bangkok initially, can you walk us through a little bit of the process getting set up, how you found housing, condo,
Right.
logistics?
Yeah, so at the time when I first moved here back October of 24, I was actually planning on splitting my time between Bangkok and Da Nang, Vietnam. So I had an apartment in Da Nang, so I wanted to find something cheaper here. So I didn't look in this area, the touristy area. I ended up at Samut Prakan, which is like if you go take the Sukhumvit BTS south to the end of Bangkok, that next district is Samut Prakan. So mine was Samrong, and that's where the yellow line is. And so I get on the yellow line, it's one stop, and that's where I found my condo. It's Knightsbridge, and it was 12,000 a month, baht, so $350 a month, something like that. It was small, like 32 square meters, so it was okay. Hardly any foreigners. I was like the only foreigner around. But it was kind of neat because I'd go outside and there's street vendors right outside my condo, and there was a husband-wife, elderly couple that would fry chicken every day. So like 2 or 3 times a day I'd buy their chicken. It was so good. And then, you know, they had a couple 7-Elevens, obviously. And all my friends lived in this area, in Prompong area. So I'd have to get on the trains and head over here. And it took me about probably 40 minutes to get to Prompong to hang out with my friends. And then when school started, which is at Rama 9, I had to get on the trains, go to Asok, take the MRT from Asok to Rama 9. It took me an hour and 50 minutes to get to school. And the cost was like, on my Rabbit card alone, I was probably spending 2,000, 2,500 a month in baht just to load my Rabbit card a month. Everything got a little tiring, so after my lease was up in October of last year.
How long did you live in Samut Prakan?
I lived there a year. I had
1
a
year.
1-year lease. I found an agent through, like, I don't know, DD Property or somewhere.
Did you work for an agency or independent?
I think she worked for an agency, but I couldn't tell you for sure.
I've worked with lots of them.
Yeah.
I always recommend when people first move here to go with the agency because they'll do like the TM30 and all that documentation.
Oh, it's awesome, yeah.
They get you set up.
If I leave the country, come back,
Yes.
I'll just message her and say, hey, I need a new TM30, and she'll get it to me that day. So, but anyway, so I told her, I said, I want something that's about, I don't want to pay more than 25,000 baht a month, if possible. I want something bigger. I want an area that I can set up my studio. And so she showed me this place down on Lumpini 24. And I remember the first or second time I was in Thailand, I actually stayed there in an Airbnb, and I really liked it. It's less than a 10-minute walk to the BTS. And she showed me 2 apartments there. And the first one was really nice. I mean, the wood flooring, the furnishings were really nice, had nice wall hangings, paintings, and drawings. I really, really liked it. And the second one was okay, same size, same layout, but just basic furnishings. So it's like, I want this first one. And she goes, okay. And then she goes, they want 30,000. And I said, go back to the owner and say, I'll do a 2-year lease if they drop it down to 25. And they did. So I signed a 2-year lease. After I signed, she told me there were like over 100 people that wanted that particular apartment.
It's a nice building, actually. I toured that. I did a condo tour there once.
I like
they have
that
a
condo.
nice amenities.
Very nice pool, rooftop pool, has a great view of Bangkok this way.
You can see the big pink building, right?
But it's nice, and the pool's nice, the workout facilities are very nice. Co-work space is really nice.
And how big is your condo currently?
I think it's like 42 square meters, so, and it's got a space for my studio.
But you're a perfect example. I've talked about this in many videos. Whenever somebody moves here, I'll get comments like, which area? And I always recommend Central. Stay Central, pay a little bit more, because over time you'll realize you do not want to do this commute in Bangkok traffic and rush hour.
Oh yeah.
And the amount you spend just on that added BTS and taxis,
I'm
you
saving.
often end up very close to what you would have spent if you're in the city center, where your life just becomes very easy and enjoyable.
Yeah, I'm saving probably 15 to 2,000 baht a month just on my rabbit car.
It's often good to come, stay for a week or two, get a feel, and start looking at the area. And think about the area more than anything else.
I'd visited here before, but you know, when you visit, it's different because you're living holiday mode, you know. So you don't think about long term. But watching your videos back then, you know, two years ago, I guess, I've been watching Retired working for you, a couple other guys. It's like you kind of get an idea of the vibes of the different neighborhoods.
Yes.
And that really helps. That helps.
But
a lot.
living outside can be nice. Like when when I first moved here, I was out in Krung Thonburi, and it was quieter. It was a Thai area, and it gave me a really good feel for, you know, the actual culture in the city.
Yeah.
Just like I'm sure you experienced being out Bering, you didn't have that foreign, and then you move into the center, and you're like, this is really different.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
So which one do you prefer? What would you recommend?
I love Phrom Phong.
Here you got the park, got the beautiful mall spaces. Once you experience the heat of Bangkok for several years, you'll realize you enjoy
them all.
the air conditioning helps, and then the rainy season kicks in, and
Yeah, right.
you get to escape the rain. So when you first moved here, how much planning did you do? Did you set yourself up with a budget? And have you adhered to the budget if you did?
So yeah, when I kind of knew what I wanted to spend as far as housing and that when I moved here, when I was leaving the Philippines, and I figured, you know, I was spending about 2,000 a month before, so US dollars, and so I thought, well, if I could stay kind of in that budget, I'm good. The nice thing about living in Bangkok is you got more street food, so it's easy to eat cheap. Where in the Philippines at BGC, you're always buying Western food and stuff like that. So I was able to save a little bit of that money on the food end, but I made up for it on the drink end. The beers are a little more expensive here, but I don't, you know, I go out maybe once or twice a week with my friends.
So if you were to lay out your budget, you're spending 25,000 on the condo.
25,000 on the condo. What I do is I transfer 65,000 baht a month, and that usually gets me through the month. And I usually don't have to transfer any more. In fact, a lot of times I have stuff left over, unless I travel. So I get 10,000 baht out in cash every month, and I use that for incidentals, like the rabbit card. You know, put 1,000 baht on the rabbit card every once in a while. If it's a small meal or a couple of beers, I'll pay cash for that. If I go out to maybe a restaurant, nice restaurant, and I spend more than, 4,000 or 5,000 baht, I'll use my card, my bank card, and I'll pay off that. So I would say groceries probably. I don't cook at home. You know, I buy protein drinks, milk, water, oatmeal.
You have a pretty empty fridge, I'm guessing.
Well, once in a while I go to 7-Eleven and get the meals that you can heat up in the microwave.
Yeah.
That's an easy, cheap cost. But yeah, so probably my food expenses are more on the eating outside than the grocery side. And I would say I could probably get by with 10 or 15,000 a month.
That's one of the nice things here. You actually, if you don't want to cook,
and you don't need to,
still have a very affordable budget when it comes to food,
Yeah.
and go out and pick up food,
Yeah.
come back. It's very convenient. Very
It is convenient.
Food culture.
Yeah. So I would say maybe 15,000. I really don't put a number on it because I really haven't thought about it much. And then incidentals, like, if I need medicine or something like that, go to the pharmacy and get I get my vitamin supplements and things like that. But yeah, if I'm sick, if I have a sinus infection, I'll go in there and it's so cheap.
Yes.
It's like, oh, how much? And you're thinking, $20 US, and it ends up being like $2. So my internet's, I got high-speed internet through True, and that's like $700 a month, $750 a month. My phone, I got a postpaid, and that's $499 a month, something like that. So electric is a little high now because I'm in a bigger condo, and it's hot season.
Yes.
So like last month it was 3,400 baht, which still is under $100 US.
We think of it as expensive when we see the big number sometimes, and then we remember when we convert it. Like,
and I remember what my bills were in the US. It's like,
they're a lot lower.
Yeah,
and how about nightlife expenses?
Yeah, so probably another 10,000 a month. So like that 65,000, I can spend all of that, or some months I don't spend as much. If I travel, like if I wanted to go to Vietnam or the Philippines, I use my credit cards to pay for the room, pay for the airline, and then I'll pay that back every month with my US bank. So that money doesn't come out of my Thai bank budget.
So that's just an additional budget, but you're relatively well aware of what you're spending there.
Yeah.
And you're keeping it generally under 65,000 without stress, like without thinking about it.
Yeah, without even thinking about it. And if I ever get to a point where it's like, oh, I need to transfer some more money in, I'll do that,
Then you'd reassess the budgeting if you were like pushing. That's what I always recommend to people, is just set yourself exactly what you've done, like a budget, like 65,000. I think this is what I'm going to spend, and then just keep track of it for like 3 months.
Yeah,
and if you're relatively close, you can just relax. You don't have to think about it much anymore.
When I was living in Da Nang, I would like have so much money, and dong is like crazy. It's like I have millions of dollars, but I would like. It's like I'm going to be here for 30 days, so I count up all my cash and I divide it by 30. It's like, this is what my daily amount is. So
that's a decent way of thinking about it, just dividing it up, because there's so many trade-offs you can make on spending here. So one of the things I really like about living in Bangkok is the trade-off spending. Like if I feel like a fancy dinner or a big night out, you could do it.
You could do it.
And then for the next couple of weeks, I might just say, I don't feel like doing that, and suddenly your costs just plummet.
Yeah, I'll just go to SW1 over here, the market, or I like Tonsai Market off of Bering. Really cheap food. I get a steak for like 65 baht.
And the big plus of it is they're both nice.
I have a budget and I live on it, and I'm enjoying my life. It's like,
that's the one that stands out to me all the time. If you're happy with your quality of life, that should be the most important factor that people are considering. Now, we left one budgetary factor out here. What about insurance?
All right, so right now I'm on travel insurance, and I think it's about 120 a month, something like that. Eventually I'm going to have to change that over, because when I hit 70, I won't be able to get travel insurance anymore.
Yeah, the comprehensive plans are better to get set up.
And I just have major medical, so if I have something major happen to me, it's covered. All the minor stuff, I'll just pay out of pocket. Like when I was in Hua Hin, I got in a motorcycle accident. This was 7 weeks ago. I fractured my scapula and my shoulder, tore my rotator, and bruised my ribs on the right side. I crashed right in front of the hospital there in Hua Hin, so it was really convenient. So they wheeled me in and took x-rays and all that. The whole cost for everything, x-rays, the doctor, the bandages, I had to go back for 7 days and have them change the bandages, the medication, meeting with the orthopedic surgeon the next day, going over the x-rays, everything was 8,500 baht.
Yeah, you have a good comparative reference right now, having lived in both the Philippines, then Vietnam, and Bangkok. So let's play a little game here.
Okay.
Best part of living in Bangkok, worst part of living in Bangkok?
The best part is just the vibe of the city overall. I mean, and you can put the food vibe, the pub vibe, the people vibe. You can put all that. It's just a neat.
You just package
feeling.
3 into one there. It's all right. We'll accept it. Worst part?
The air pollution in January and February and March.
I agree.
I had to leave. I got a respiratory infection. It was so bad,
Yeah, that's the big downside to Bangkok. All right, let's jump then. Manila, best part.
Okay, so BGC is the Bonifacio Global Cities where I lived. The best part there is it's super safe and walkable. You can walk anywhere in 15 minutes and be anywhere. Worst part, it's a bubble, and you get outside and then you realize the extent of the poverty level in the Philippines is just tremendous, and it's dirty, and
The infrastructure is really lacking.
infrastructure's
there.
bad, internet's bad, you got brownouts all the time. BGC was nice because all their power grid is underground,
Okay.
so we never had any brownouts.
Da Nang, best part?
The beach, by far the beach. The worst part, I would say probably you have to, it's kind of spread out, so you have to get a grab to go anywhere, which isn't horrible because it's cheap, but it's not very walkable like these neighborhoods are. You can walk anywhere, and they don't have the trains or anything like that.
It's more spread out. You kind of need a motorbike.
You need a
in Da Nang.
motorbike,
I found you
but
cruising
after my
around.
accident, no more motorbikes for me.
You're a good example. I provide that advice. I actually had an accident in Da Nang too.
Oh.
It was a couple of years ago.
They're crazy
And
in Da Nang.
the traffic rules are so unclear that you have to really understand them.
Right.
Because I got in an accident with a guy passing me on the wrong side of the road while his side was totally empty.
Right.
And he just decided to drive straight into me. But it turns out he wasn't Vietnamese, he was Korean.
Oh,
And
wow.
he just had no idea how to drive there either. And so you've
Right.
got so many layers of potential danger when you factor in ambiguous road rules, lack of law enforcement, locals doing one thing, tourists doing another thing, nobody knowing what anybody else is doing. So what about social community here in Bangkok? Have you found it easy to make new friends, to meet people? And on the flip side of that, do you find that you can drift, that the holiday mode can kick in, the infamous holiday mode?
Right, yeah. So, yeah, you got to be careful of that. If you're not careful, Bangkok will eat you up and spit you out. And I've got a couple of friends of mine that happened. One guy went to a bar and spent $1,800 US in one night.
That will happen.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine doing that. So,
Well, it's a destination that's been designed for it. People often complain. I see it on some YouTube videos where people say, well, they just want your money. And I think, yes, that is capitalism.
yeah, exactly.
You're going to a
And you're-
bar.
You don't have to give them the money.
Like, I'm gonna go to the bar. Nah, they don't want my money.
Yeah.
They just want to be my friend. Like, people
it was-
want your money, and they're very good at extracting it.
Yeah, but I found it was easy to find. I have two really good circles of friends, small circles of friends that we like on Saturdays we'll go to the driving range and hit the golf balls around, and then go out for lunch after that, and sometimes on a Friday we'll go hang out at the bar or stuff like that. So, but I've always found that if you keep your group of friends small, that's probably the best, because if you get too many, then they all can't do something the same night, so you end up doing something every night with somebody else, and before you know it, you're spending $1,800.
I have a similar outlook where I have a small group of close friends that I've known for years now, and then I have a lot of acquaintances. Like,
yeah.
and I consider those people as friendly.
Right.
It's like a big network of people you know, kind of, and you meet a lot of people here in Bangkok. Like, just have lists of people that you meet.
Yeah, I
But you
meet a lot.
can't be too close because otherwise you'll get pulled into everything.
Exactly, yeah, and I meet a lot of people through my YouTube channel too, and some of them I've become really good friends with. Some of them it's like you said, acquaintances, but you kind of know it's like, I like the guy, he's nice, but I just can't spend every day doing something.
Or he
with
starts
this.
trying to borrow money with him.
Well, I haven't had that yet.
Oh, you haven't had that yet?
No,
It'll
I'm not
come.
that big. I'm not that big yet.
No, that one
one hit
comes
early.
regardless of who you are. You meet people. Bangkok's a bit of a magnet for. It's a Wild West type of environment. That's how I liken it. It attracts a range of different personalities, some of which may be classified as personality disorders.
Right.
And it's definitely at a higher rate than you get in your typical stay-at-home environment. It takes packing your things, moving across the world to a place that's known for nightlife. I think it's a beautiful place, very safe, but it's always appealed to.
Is there a bad area in Bangkok that you would avoid, or you would tell your people to avoid?
That's the interesting thing with Bangkok and Thailand in general. There is nowhere that you would say, that's unsafe. And that's not something I can say about Toronto in Canada, my home
Right.
city. You're from the US.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it's like half the places you
No, right?
There's too many guns. You just be like, man, I don't want to go there.
Yeah, exactly.
But in Toronto, it's the same. Like, there are so many areas I would tell people, you do not go there. There's too many gangs.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to try to rob you. And most cities in Western countries have no-go zones where you just recommend people don't go
Yeah.
there. There's nothing like that here. You can go to Klong Toi, which is the slum right here in central Bangkok. They call it a slum, but lower income community is the better term.
Right.
And you won't actually encounter problems. Like, people are friendly, and the poverty level is extremely high. But you just don't have. You do have gang culture here. Like, the technical schools are known for having rivalries and gangs,
Oh, wow.
and you'll hear about shootings and stabbings. But when it comes to the tourism-facing side of things, and in the central areas, I think there's a lot of policing generally.
Yeah.
All right, I want to thank you for your time, JJ.
Yeah,
and
no problem.
JJ's got a YouTube channel as well, so I'm going to link that in the description. He covers lots of interesting information about living here. If you're interested in the education visa in particular, he's got very, very detailed information. I think that's very useful.
Yeah.
I appreciate being able to provide lots and lots of up-to-date, on-the-ground advice there. So thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Cal. I appreciate it.